Well, good morning. My name is Tom. I come to you from the Rustic log cabin in Northern Maine. Welcome to my Beaver Creek outpost. It's the end of deer season. Little recap. There was something very disturbing that happened this year. It's bothered me every day because it was such a disappointment. It's a disappointment in people. I was leaving my home where was I? I was headed to the shooting range. Was I headed to the shooting range? It doesn't matter where I was headed now, but it doesn't matter. I heard 2 gunshots not too far away. So, didn't really think too much of it. I mean, I live in an area where people shoot a lot anyways. Neighbors shoot a lot. Duck season, they shoot a lot, so it's nothing new to hear gunshot. But I knew this was the sound of rifle shots. And I was just leaving the house. I got in the truck. I was headed, I think I was headed to the shooting range. It wasn't early. It was probably 11 o'clock in the morning, raining. There's 2 hills before you get to my house. I crested the first hill, coming down over it, and there's a red pickup truck sitting in the middle of the road. And this is a very busy road. Very busy. It's a state road now. It didn't used to be, but it's a very busy road. And there's a truck sitting in the middle of the road, and a guy just walking into the woods. Another pickup, actually there was a white pickup behind him, and they both were standing in the middle of the road next to the red truck. The white pickup truck was blocking the other lane, and the red truck was right in his lane, blocking the road. And the guy fired 2 shots. So what's disturbing about that? Well, it's unethical, number 1. It makes all hunters look bad, number 2. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. But I know the area well. I've lived there 40 years, and that's why it makes me mad. My wife has had people, when I had beagles, a deer across the road, and they were standing in my driveway getting ready to shoot in the direction of all my beagles. You know, that's not a hunter. Driving down the road, you spot a deer, and you think you're going to shoot it in somebody's backyard. That's just, I mean, and that's what this guy did. I mean, this guy that tried to shoot in my driveway was 50 feet from my house. And this guy that shot this week, it was not this week, it was 2 weeks ago. This guy that shot 2 weeks ago, there was 3 houses within 150 feet from where he shot. That's so stupid. If you are a hunter that's driving the road and you see a deer, and it means that much to you to take that kind of a risk in killing a human being, you are wrong. You are dead wrong. Behind him where he shot was 2 homes that people live in. Both of them homes, they don't deer hunt. I know them well. The yard that he was firing in is another house that has kids. He was well within 100 yards of that home. Well within it. I basically was in his driveway and shot by his building, by his garage. He has a garage that's set way off in the back in the woods. He has a great big Gambrel garage. They're always working in that garage. And this bonehead shot at a deer, and there was another big place over here. He got a house, and this little strip of woods. And he's sitting in the middle of the hot top. That's not a deer you should be shooting at. That's how mad it makes me. I didn't say anything, and that's what I regret. Because the more I just shook my head, and it really ticked me off. as the day went on. Because I got thinking back to a few years ago when someone did that in my driveway and I wasn't home. I was up at the Rustic log cabin deer hunting. That's not deer hunting, people. Riding the roads and taking a pot shot at a deer in somebody's backyard is not deer hunting. It puts a black mark on all the deer hunters. It makes us all look like idiots. It makes people post their land. The list goes on and on and on. So if you're that bonehead, and there's many of them, he's not alone. The day that it snowed, I was headed out of here day before Thanksgiving, and I never seen so many road hunters in my life. Heater hunters. That's not hunting. That's not deer hunting. I don't care if you get a deer. When you stop a truck on the side of the road like that and squeeze the trigger, especially in today's age, you have no idea what's out in those woods. As a builder of 35, 40 years, we built a lot of houses and cabins and everything out in the woods off the road. You don't know what's back there. So you sit there and you go bang, 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 and you don't know that there's a house back there. I doubt very much the guy that was doing that on that road even lives within 50 miles of my house. He has no idea what's out in those woods. So that's my rant on disappointment in a hunter. And I thought about it since. I've thought long and hard. If I ever come across that again, I'm going to stop my vehicle. I'm going to take a picture of that vehicle. I'm going to look for the casing that's on the ground. I'm going to take a picture of that casing because I'll bet dollars to donuts it was on the yellow line, 2 of them. Because it's such a dangerous situation for all involved, I'm going to gather as much as I can gather, and then I'm going to call the game warden myself. And I'm going to do everything I can to bring charges against that person for putting that many lives in danger and making the rest of us look like poachers. Because if you're shooting from the hot top, you know, you're supposed to be 10 feet off the road. 10 feet. No way in hell was he 10 feet off the road. Because when you get out of a vehicle and you try to get 10 feet off the hot top, that deer's not sitting there looking at you saying, come on, come shoot me. So there's no way in heck that that man was 10 feet off the hot top. He opened the truck door, stood on the hot top, and squeezed the trigger. Probably didn't even look around and see if there was any houses around. There was 4 houses within the legal limit of shooting a firearm. 4. 4 houses. And that's what ticked me off. And if it ever happens again, if I ever come across that again, I am going to do everything I can to turn that person in. And that's strong words coming from me because I don't really like game wardens that much. I can't say that. They do a job and all that, but holy smokes. Hunting is getting out in the woods, getting away from people. Hunting the deer one-on-one, checking it out, learning about them, scouting, that's hunting. Hunting is not driving down the road and jumping out of your truck and taking a pot shot at a deer. It was one of them things that's been bugging me. I wanted to get it out there because I think for the most part, most hunters are ethical. I think it is a very few in today's age that are not. And those very few are the ones that do kill people. And the other reason I thought about it, and it ticked me off so much, it wasn't that many years ago, the same thing happened not too far from my house, to probably 6 miles. A big buck crossed the road. A guy in a pickup truck pulled off the road, loaded his rifle, chased down the deer, and shot and killed a man in his backyard, thinking that it was a deer. It was a guy out in his backyard raking leaves. All that man was thinking about was the buck he just saw across the road. People, it's just a deer. People, it's just a buck. It's not worth that man's life that he killed in the back of that guy's house. If he had known the area, he would know there was a house there. There's a whole road there. There's a whole road of houses where he shot and killed that man. It's 2 roads. One leaves the main drag and it runs along side by side and then comes back out on the main drag a mile or so up the road. There's a dozen houses on that road with God only knows how many people. He followed the buck up through the woods, saw some movement, shot, and killed a man. That's why I'm angry about this, because there's no reason at all whatsoever for any hunter to mistake a deer for a human being. I've been hunting for 50 years. I have never seen a human being that looked like a deer. Never! Hey, I'll see you next week.